Hi, everybody.
Hi, welcome to Cartomancy Mesquite. I'm Angela. This is Diana, Wonder Woman, with me, and we're going to be reading Nancy Jean's Oracle Garden. That's our regular Sunday fun day.
Yep, Sunday fun day.
So we've gotten into a habit of starting with a big story and looking at it with the garden and astrology at the same time. So Diana, you want to take it away with the story for today?
Sure. So I want to give a shout out to Emergence Magazine. It's it's an online magazine that comes out a couple times a month, maybe every Sunday. I don't seem to find it every Sunday, but at any rate, it comes out a couple times a month. And there's always interesting stories, always interesting films, always interesting poetry. In fact, I was made aware of the tribe in Texas who's been separated from half of their family because of this rush to guard the border, because half of their family lives on what is considered to be the Mexican side, but it wasn't for a long, long time because it's Native American land. And so there's this imaginary, it's a wooden picket fence that they can't cross anymore. Anyway, it was one of the very first things that this magazine brought to my attention. And it's never let me down. There's always something on it. So if you're interested in getting little infos like that can trigger things that we need to have attention brought to, go to emergencemagazine.com and sign up for it. It's free and it's worth it.
Okay.
And they don't sell your email to other people.
Okay, Teresa, are you going to get your phone back? Let's see. I'm getting a yes with my pendulum.
Oh, yeah. I just, were you in the woods? Were you walking somewhere and dropped it? Wherever they are, they haven't gotten back to a place yet. Maybe your phone has gone dead.
Maybe the battery went dead. Yeah.
Or just clicked off. They can't answer it because it's clicked off.
Okay. She lost it last night at Big Lots. They must have picked it up, but didn't turn it on. Yeah.
Or turn it in.
Turn it in. Yeah. Yeah, that's about what you can expect at Big Lots. But yeah, I got a yes with my pendulum. So I think it's going to come pretty quick because my pendulum answered pretty quick.
Good.
So, the minute they start using it, you can probably track it. Like you said, you can track it with your iPad. Yeah. Okay, that ought to get it.
Right. You could, if you know where it is, and is it, it could still be at Big Lots. Nobody found it. I can track it, and it looks like they are charging it, so they can answer it. Or find an emergency number to reach out. I was walking my dogs one day, and this was still in Virginia, and on the sidewalk was somebody's phone, and I was able to pick it up and call the emergency number. And the dad came to get it because it was the phone that belonged to the kid. Who wasn't really a kid. She was an adult. She just had dropped it on her run.
Where were we?
So I was giving a shout out to Emergence Magazine because it's also, questions that we can ask with the garden for some of these topics. So today, one of the things that was brought up was the forest of the church. Now, I'm a big woodland walker. I walk in the forest. Even in Virginia, I had to walk the sidewalks
Yeah.
through the neighborhood to go get to the woods that I walked in. But I spend a lot of time in the forest, and it is a sanctuary, and that is basically what a church is a sanctuary.
Mm-hmm.
But this particular film was dealing with Somalia and Christian church, Orthodox Christian churches, which means they're more like Greek Orthodox, Russian Orthodox, Byzantine. If you're Catholic, it would be Byzantine Orthodox. So it follows the old ways.
Yeah.
And generally is said in Latin. If you're Byzantine. In Somalia, I don't know what language they would be saying it. So anyway, it was very interesting, and it got me down another path. What they have done is that they have this true belief that a church belongs in the forest, that there should be a forest around it. And they had built this forest, they had built the church in the forest, and it has been there for centuries. And it just keeps living. And it's not, they were dealing with one in particular, but they showed a few others. And so it is, they believe it has been blessed by God. They believe that the forest around it has been blessed by God. So they originally had built a wall around the area. So there was a clearing around the church itself, but it's circular.
Yeah.
And then on the other side of that wall became the forest. And with the encroachment of agriculture and grazing land for cattle, the forest is, I don't know, it has shrunk to maybe 5 acres, if it's even that. And it's circular. So you're talking about, around the church itself. So they didn't say how long ago they did this, but they had built a wall around the outside perimeter of the forest to make people stop.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing that
Hi, Andrea.
I find ever so interesting about this is we're talking about Somalia.
And
in Somalia is the Church of Our Mary of Mount Zion. And that church is in a little sacred town called Aksum. And there is a annex to the church that holds the thought to be the original Ark of the Covenant.
Yeah.
And regardless of the fact that there are a few others out there that are the Ark of the Covenant, there's nobody can dispute that there may have been more than one in the aftermath. After all, there were 7 tribes of the Israelites. At any rate, this one is considered to be the real one because of the things that occur to the guardian. And there is only one guardian who gets an appointment that is a lifetime appointment. And he's the only one who's allowed to look at this. And they end up going blind from radiation poison on their eyes. It's not just cataracts. They go blind.
Yeah.
Now, the long history of the Ark of the Covenant. Let's think about this. Moses goes up on the mountain. He gets the tablets. He comes down. The Babylonians have gone back to depravity and have built the tower, and they're having a gay old time. And he gets so angry that he throws the tablets down on the ground. And storms and goes back up the mountain, and everybody gets sick and die, and the tower falls, and it's the tower card in our tarot, right?
Yeah.
She goes back up on the mountain and gets the next set of tablets. And what are all the things that happen after that, right? They begin to march out because Solomon's temple has been torn down, and they begin to march out, and they're led by um, Menelik, who is the son of Solomon and Sheba.
Mm-hmm.
And the Somalians are descendant of the Israelites.
Yeah.
And through their DNA testing, it's been shown that they were in the out of Africa crossing through the mouth of the Red Sea. And that was Moses standing there parting the Red Sea.
Yeah.
And this happened in the 2nd century, but
Mhm.
they didn't qualify whether it was BCE or Common Era.
Mhm.
And it's hard to differentiate because there's also a time shift in there, which is what changes us from being whatever year Jewish tradition has us in, 4,000 something, right?
Yeah.
So there's this whole time shift that goes on. So putting all this together, I got it in my head, but getting it out there is kind of hard. So you have to do your own deep dive on that to get all of that information clear. However, it really makes sense when you sit and think about it, that this was going on in the before Christ, Anno Domini, I can't help but say, in AD times,
Mm-hmm.
with Moses and Menelik and the fall of the Temple of Solomon, and that Menelik was the first to lead them
Yeah.
out through Africa, and Moses was Moses Menelik. That's another question. We don't know, because he's said to have been raised in Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
And when I think of Somalia, Egypt is what I think of. But it's not there. It's up in the highlands. It's, it's
Mm-hmm.
north. It's on the seaboard. So anyways, some of the things that, well, we know that it's a sacred vessel. We've had plenty of stories about the Ark of the Covenant. Scientists have tried to back engineer it and know that it houses something because of the tales that have been told, and some of them ring pretty true. The fact that the Philistines stole the ark from the Israelites and then got sick with tumors and other forms of disease, they took it back. They gave it back to them.
Yeah.
We don't want this, right? So what powerful protection is on this? And if we take it back to Zoroastrianism and the star seeds, really, when they did the DNA testing and it comes up with the haplotype type, and what is their star seed? What is the star seed of the Somalian? If this is out of Africa into Egypt, or did it go vice versa, or did it come straight down? And that's actually who the Israelites were in the first place.
Okay. I think Ethnicity has a comment here. Can you combine Akashic reading with the garden? I've had tons of Arthurian energy coming up.
Absolutely, I can.
Yeah.
You can too.
Yep.
So I thought one of the interesting things to start off asking is, are they descendants of the Temple of Solomon? Are they of the 7 tribes of Israel?
Okay. Let's give it a shot. That's kind of amazing. I have them grounded in the present.
Well, that kind of makes sense if you think about that, because this film was just released.
And what it says is values are being purified now. So they are getting down to the real
Nitty-gritty of
story.
it. What stone is for you is in that?
It's the grounding stone, the pyrite.
You got pyrite in grounding?
No, in the present.
In the,
Pyrite,
oh, I'm sorry, right.
yeah,
So
pyrite
I have
grounding stone.
calcite. I have calcite in the root chakra. How's that? That kind of puts those two things right together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because calcite is the mind, right? And having it in the root chakra is creativity is the key to security.
Mm-hmm.
And what did they do? They locked it up and only have one guardian so that nobody can go in there. And he gets sick
Mm-hmm.
and everybody sees that he's sick. So nobody wants to go in there, especially if you take the story of the Philistines returning it after they stole it.
Yeah, hypnicity. We're talking about the Ark of the Covenant.
Right. But there was a film that came out this morning on Emergence magazine. It's a monthly publication, maybe twice a month. I don't know. It shows up on Sundays and I always go to it. It is so interesting. It always has topics that make you think. Films, poetry, stories, art. And so they had a thing on Somalia and how they have the forest of the church. And they have these forests that are circular around a circular church. And they're striving for the preservation of the forest because they are Orthodox and they believe that a church belongs in the forest of God. And, you know, it pertains to Mother Gaia and the preservation and stop stripping everything to put in Somalia, where it either drenches out or doesn't grow because it gets burnt out. You know, they have to haul water in to keep crops going. So we have this strangeness going on, and it relates to another film that was published today by them as well. But this is the important one because this is the deeply historic one. This one goes way back, way back. This is something that they've been doing for several centuries. And the encroachment on that forest, like Arthurian forests, which were once huge and covered all of the Great Britons, now are down to, you know, nothing. There's hardly any forest left. And so we see this encroachment of man who isn't thinking about what needs to be saved and preserved.
Exactly.
So the whole story of the long history of the Samoans who have gone from the 7 tribes of Israelite to Orthodox Christianity to Islam. In reality, Islam, if you followed the teachings of John, the brother of Jesus, then you ended up being Islamic because that's where Muhammad was studying. And Christ is in the Quran. And if you followed Peter and Paul, you ended up being Catholic.
Yeah.
Because they went in different directions.
Oh, we have a friend showing up here.
Who's that?
I haven't seen it in a while. It's Allie. Hi, Allie.
Hi, Allie. So back to Somalia, and we're reading on the Ark of the Covenant at this point just to make sure to see what the stones have to say about the Ark of the Covenant that is at the church of our Mary, our Mother, Our Lady Mary of Mount Zion.
Yeah.
That's what houses the Ark of the Covenant, which is more times than not believed to be real and to be the original one. And whether the tablets are still in there or not, nobody knows because nobody's opened it. if you touch it, you're said to die. And that one guardian goes blind by the end of his life and gets sick along the way as he adjusts to whatever is coming off of there.
Okay, well, on this, I've got the grounding in present, and then I've got the spirit or the amethyst is in earth.
I got the amethyst in fire.
Okay, this is spirit transforming, but not yet finished. So what does yours say? Let's see. Fire is thoughts from the past, clouding or enlightening ideas. So the past, what they did with the calendar way back then.
Exactly. So the change in the calendar has clouded, for someone like me who I'm not an archaeologist. I don't really study it, I mean, I do, but it's like quick, suck up the information, and at any rate, but that's it for sure. It's clouding it. But the other, the spirituality of the amethyst stone to be in fire, and considering that this Ark of the Covenant, with all the scientific back engineering that they've done to say that there is something in there that emits radiation to this day, right? Because that one's been sitting there since 2nd century BCE, and an emperor was seen to have put eyes on it in 691. Common Era. Okay, which would have been before the extra 2,000 years or 1,000 year shift or whatever it was of Arthurian times. So that fire, amethyst in that spiritual fire, shows that this thing is still intense and is still alive and is still working, whatever it is.
Yep.
And maybe the 10 Commandments never really were well, they had to have been, but who put them?
Exactly. Okay, and I got its clarity, or its sodalite, and its mine, orange calcite, are both in water. So that's let go of limitations, and you have the clarity you need. Follow one of the paths and use your life force to resolve your situations. So that sounds like it's got that it's working on its way of clearing up. Like we're going to eventually get some information on this.
Right. My sodalite is in restate. I think that solidifies those two being in water, because that restate is, they're going to come out with the truth, or we're going to know the truth. Because how do you want to lay odds on this, that the church knows, that the Catholic Church knows, that they've got it in those, locked in the tombs under the dome?
Yep.
And then I've got fuchsite in the solar plexus, and the other half of it in restate, again, adding more to that. And then I've got pyrite in solar plexus. Keep looking for it. Keep trying to find the answer. Sooner or later, the truth is going to come out.
Yeah.
About a lot of things, which can also bring us to the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, but more on that in a minute.
Okay, and I've got the fuchsite in air, and that is ground your thoughts, but I've got the grounding stone, the pyrite is in the present, so everybody's thoughts are grounded on this. I think it's that they are getting to the nitty-gritty of it, as to what it really is and what it really is.
Through archaeology, and got nothing to do with anybody's church, be it Christian, Islamic, or Jewish. It doesn't have anything to do with that. The truth is. Which brings us to starseeds.
Yeah.
Because if they are, started and connected with the Zoroastrianism, yeah.
Yeah, and Andrea says scrying with integrity and multiple avenues. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm definitely going to study more on this later. I mean, this just came this morning, and
Yeah.
so more information to be brought forward. But I do find it so interesting that, we have the son of Solomon and the Queen of Sheba involved. We have Moses involved. We have Somalia crossing the Red Sea at the mouth.
Yeah.
And, that's a tale of Moses. And the tablet supposed to be in the Ark of the Covenant is the tale of Moses. And sure, somebody, carved him on a stone, be it an angel or a star seed, or Moses himself as he brought the tablets down, but the message was given to him from the burning bush.
All of those are possible.
Which brings us back to the burning birds of the sky. I think angels, which were, can I say it? Aliens.
Yeah.
Extraterrestrials. Let me rephrase that. Extraterrestrials. So yeah. So if we think about what can happen when we get to April 20th, we have this Uranus-Jupiter conjunction. This is going to be time. Because Jupiter is going to expand it and Uranus wants it to happen and wants it now. And so, which chart did I bring here? I brought a chart for noon Eastern, so adjust for your time zone because I don't have the exact minutes, but they will be exact at 21 minutes and 21 degrees and 52 minutes, I think. Don't quote me on the minutes. At any rate, they will be conjunct at 21 degrees. We are already feeling it because they are both big movers and shakers. And our desire for the truth is going to win. Hopefully for the lifetimes of all of us here.
Yeah.
In our community, not necessarily just watching this show right now, but in all of our community. And at the time, we're going to have Black Moon Lilith, done with this, I want the truth, and the moon in Virgo. Analyze, 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 right? So,
about that.
right? And we've heard enough from both sides, let's say, to figure out, to know, to find a conviction as to what the truth really is.
Yeah.
And then we still have the North and South nodes in the Libra Aries axis. We still have Chiron in play with Sun, even though the Sun is moving into Taurus at that time. You're talking the Sun. It's big. And so they're 11 degrees apart, but you got Venus pushing right behind Chiron, and you got Mercury about to go forward, pushing back through himself. So this is going to be a big time of truth. This is going to be a big time of truth, a big time of change, a big blast, and not necessarily from the past, except for us to be convinced we don't want to go through that again.
Yeah.
And I think it looks to me as if there will be greater masses understanding and letting go and moving towards a more united lifestyle.
Yes, as Andrea says, more will be revealed.
More will be revealed because we still have Uranus and now in a true conjunction over here, and then we have Pluto over here in Aquarius, creating that trine that's going to go across. I mean, it's not quite a trine, but
Close enough.
It will. It will. But that's a position that's going to be held for a while, you know?
Mhm.
So, because Pluto won't go retrograde until September. And then when he does, like I've said several times, when he goes retrograde, he's not going to spend much time in Capricorn. Most of his retrograde time is going to be spent in Aquarius.
Mhm.
And I know most everybody in this community definitely wants to be done with this rhetoric.
Yep.
And then we also have the Pisces planets. We have Neptune and Mars in Pisces at 22 degrees and Saturn at 15 degrees,
Mhm.
shifting the foundations, but getting closer to forming what the dream is.
Mm. Yep.
And it won't be until 2025, but Neptune will make its egress into Aries and Saturn will follow at the same time or very close to the same time. And so they make that egress basically together because
Mhm.
Neptune moves so much slower than Saturn anyway.
Yeah.
So that is going to help show us where to take action, that Aries, that, you know, delegate, delegate, delegate. This has to change. This has to be done. This has to go forward. So there's a lot coming up. The end of this month is going to be a big boogie to get out of it.
Mhm.
All right. So what else shall we read on?
I think I would like to know what are the spiritual aspects of the 20th? You know.
Oh, that's a good idea.
You know?
Oh, I like that question. Okay.
Yeah,
What-
and we got something from Andrea. She says a woman who came to our practice group a couple of years ago contacted me because she was hearing whispering to her. I'm connected with her this afternoon. We all saw she was a gifted light worker. That's great. So yes, more is becoming revealed as we speak. It's working. So let's give a read on what are the spiritual aspects of the 20th.
Okay. Spiritual aspects of the Jupiter. Well, the Uranus-Jupiter conjunction on April 20th and all of the stars above.
Mm-hmm. Andrew says she's ready too. One of the more you are talking about. Yeah, the more people coming into the knowledge.
Right?
Yep. Wow, this is a this is a reading and a half. Would you like to go first?
Well, okay, I'm trying to figure out where I should start. Let me start with Fuchsite in water.
Okay.
Help from grounding elements. Okay, stay grounded, which absolutely could be hard to do that day because you were talking two big planets, and if depending on how your Jupiter and of course the rest of your chart, but your Jupiter and Uranus is going to be aspected by this. You know, there are some people who are born with a Jupiter Uranus conjunction. It happens about every 14 years. So, you know, how is it aspect? Is it going to give you extra strength and extra ability to go forward? Or like me, I have a baby Jupiter. He's going to stand in the candy aisle and say, I want the candy, and not give up until he gets it. Or Uranus is going to haul off and smack him across the aisle, you know? So I have Fuchsite, in water, help from staying grounded through all of this. In Path Forward, I have Sodalite, which where did they put that one? Up here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
What's your,
I get so mad at myself when I can't just find it.
which one are you looking for?
Path forward.
Path forward. It's the very top.
Oh, for goodness sakes. Okay. Sodalite. Look carefully at omens at this time and for movement forward. Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
That's so pertinent for myself.
Yeah.
Wow. Because I'm getting new signals, new messages, new forms of delivery.
Yeah.
Then I have calcite in restate and solar plexus. And in the restate, it is think of how the situation is viewed and then rethink it.
Mm-hmm.
It's viewed as a shake 'em up kind of time, right? And so with the other half of that being in the solar plexus, again, we have power through connecting the mental. So again, we have that staying grounded. And I have pyrite in solar plexus, which is staying grounded also. Burn out the self-doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Burn out the self-doubt. Now that makes sense too. This is not just for me. This is for all of us, but aren't we all in a place?
Yeah.
Okay. And then half in past and half in restate.
Mm-hmm.
Amethyst. And then, so in the past, have you missed how transformation has already happened? So ask yourself already, right? We should ask ourselves, what do we know that has, like I had that vision of Mother Mary, and it felt like she entered me, I just was, she was at the fireplace and then vroom, just like a Dracula movie. She's there and then she's right there at my face. And I just felt so much afterwards. So I know that was real. I don't care what anybody says or anybody who thinks I'm crazy. That was real because this stuff happens to me all the time. So don't doubt any of you. Hypnicity, don't doubt yourself on this.
Yeah.
And then to have that in restate. Sorry. I should know right where that is because it's right under it. Going in the right direction, but you just need some clarification, right? So your Uranus, Jupiter can help you with that. Yes, the eclipse did jumpstart everything. I mean, didn't you feel it?
Oh yeah.
Even if you didn't feel it the days leading up to it, during the time of the event. I was almost in totality. I was like 98%.
Yeah.
And so it was dark enough. And my camera just wanted to be working as a camera and not working to take pictures of the eclipse and the lack of sunlight. Anyway.
Okay, Hypnicity is asking, where do the sparkles land?
Oh man, I had so many sparkles yesterday as I was meditating, calling in my guides, and it's amazing.
Yeah, she's been feeling it constantly.
I was calling them in for protection, and they were filling in all the gaps, like a dentist in your cavities. They were filling in wherever there was holes for protection.
Fabulous. Yeah, that's great.
It was. I mean, shimmering, like,
Yep. Okay, I'll go ahead and read what I've got here. I've got the fuchsite, or the body I have is in present, third eye, and throat. So the present is at this time, now, right now it's happening. And then the third eye is insight needs to be expressed physically. So we're going to need to get off our butts and start moving.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad that came up.
Yeah. And then the throat chakra, or the truth, is expression of truth will free the body. So that's lightening us all up. It's bringing in the light and getting us moving, getting us going. And then I have the grounding stone, the pyrite, is in fire and water. Oh, I love this part, right at the crease of the paper. Clarification. Clarification comes from dealing with your past. Okay. And then water is grounding changes are setting in to long-term patterns. So there we go. You know, we're getting clarification, and that's setting in our grounding. You know, our grounding is getting clarified and setting in to stay there for a while, and long-term patterns. That's a good part of it. And yeah, hypnicity, the truth will set us free. And then I have the spirit, or the amethyst, and the orange calcite. Okay, the spirit, or the amethyst, is in crown, enlightenment, and future.
Oh, wow.
Okay, crown, enlightenment, spirit harmonizes all your efforts. That's really nice, because a lot is going on right now.
Yeah.
And then in the future, it says, be patient. The transformation is not yet ready. So we're not quite there yet. And we're reading on 420. So that's apropos. That really does set it right.
Sure.
And then we have the orange calcite is in future also. And it says, think of the situation in the future sense. So we are moving into the future, and a lot is changing. And that it's also sitting in water and air. So thoughts are all important, and let go of limitations. So all those old limitations are going by the wayside. So far as light workers, I think we're being kind of set free a little bit, you know, from the sound of this reading. And then the clarity is sitting right in the middle of air, earth, fire, and water.
Oh, wow.
So we need to be sure that our thoughts are clear. Use ideas you carry from your past and past lives for a solution. You may have many paths ahead of you. The correct one will appear in the future, and you have the clarity you need. Follow one of the paths and use your life force to resolve your situations.
That's awesome.
So that's amazing. So we've got all the clarity in the world.
What you said about light workers,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to see that we are making strides of progress. There is some success, a method to the madness.
Yes, and we'll be able to see it. I mean, in real time.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I like this too. Wasn't 420 the day they legalized weed?
Yep. I mean, what can you say? What else can you say? You know, what can you say? 420, and then we have the full moon on 423, and then Mercury goes direct on 424. And so this month is only got 30 days, has September, April, June, 30 days.
Yep.
I still have to do that sometimes when my mind is trailing off to many different.
But you
So,
look at it, we had the eclipse, and now we've got all these other things rolling along, and it's all lighting things up for us.
right?
Yes.
And okay, I'm of an age, right? I'm 75.
Mhm.
And I'm looking back thinking, how many times did I hear my mother and father and grandparents say, time just keeps moving so fast. It keeps getting faster and faster. Is it because we can now measure this distance as compared to that distance that we've come from?
Mm-hmm.
So it seems to be moving faster when, yeah, what's a minute a day? The
Yeah.
body shouldn't notice that. After all, they take an hour away from us every spring
Mm-hmm.
in most states.
Yeah.
So, and I notice that, but I don't anymore because I'm retired, in case I didn't say that before. Because in my house, I don't change the clocks.
Yeah. I don't either. And Hypnicity says we have been training a new batch of light workers. Yes.
Yeah.
A new batch, and then new things are coming to our awareness.
Yes. And I have written a ton of notes because if you'll remember, Gerald asked us a question about the shifting, and I have not been able to let go of that question. So I've been doing some channeling on it and writing it down, and I didn't bring that booklet up.
Yes, we're right where we should be.
We have been entrusted.
Mm-hmm.
And what I was told is, what makes us think that generation after generation hasn't had to adapt the tools that are used?
Yes.
Because things become unavailable, things go extinct, and attitudes change, violence disappears. That whole the legend of humanity. So what they had said was, what makes you think that generation after generation has not had to adapt tools that are used? And we entrust you to find the substitutions that will still do the job as you teach and leave behind. I can't wait to hear it. I can't wait to hear it. As we leave behind the things that we no longer find, we now adapt with the things we have at hand.
Yep.
Yeah. We're awakening all along.
And then we're expanding of the crone as interpreters. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not to change the new ideas that they get also,
No,
we have to allow, every generation is due that same respect of innovation. Lord knows my generation did it. Hence we got ourselves to 420. But it took a whole lot of hell no, I won't go. And
And Hypnicity, what my guys have told me is that we're getting new tools. A lot of our old tools are going to go by the wayside, and we're going to be bringing in new tools.
Yes, there's no reason. It hasn't lost its power.
No.
You just have to take better care of it in order to make it last. It's like recharging with the moon. It's like just letting it rest.
Yes.
Just letting it rest. As my palm stone and that whole story. I got a big lesson from Merlin on that one. He hid it from me for 3 weeks in a spot I had looked at for 3 weeks. I mean, picked up the cushions and looked, which everybody has probably heard that story. But it was hilarious because after 3 weeks, they gave it back to me.
Right in the spot you had looked 1,000 times. Yes, and Andrea says shamanic tools and paths have fully shifted in her experience.
Yes, they have. But there's a couple of things that don't change. The rattle. The drum, the bell, the candles. Even if I can't get candles that drip anymore, I can do things to help it along so that I do get patterns to read as they fall down or as they puddle. Yeah. And our Detroit, baby.
Yep. And it's we're going to be
WABX. I should have put my T-shirt on. I will for 420. I have an original T-shirt from the very first kite-in on Belle Isle in 1968 or 60, whatever year it was, and I can still wear it. And it was much too small back then, so I can still wear it. But
yep. Ethnicity loves it. And Andrea agrees with our drums and rattles.
Exactly.
Yeah, all tools, they're not all going to go by the wayside. Some will, but others will be working in with the new tools.
Right. Anything can be a drum. My table.
Absolutely. What do we do when we can't?
That's hollow enough.
We improvise.
Yeah, exactly.
I like this. The hippies are saving the planet.
One toke over the line, sweet Jesus. One toke over the line. Sitting downtown in a railway station. One toke over the line. Or how about roll another one? Just like the other one.
Yeah.
And if anybody remembers John Sinclair, which Andrea, you should. He just passed away 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
So Wayne Kramer from the MC5 Kick Out the Jams mother. There were 2 nights that they recorded live at the Grandy Ballroom. I was there both nights, and if you listen really hard, you can hear me screaming when they came out with "Kick Out the Jams, mother."
Yep. And now, Allie, you're on the spot. You need to tell your dream.
Oh, there you go. Or she's saving it for Tuesday night.
Yep.
One or the other, which we will give her kudos if she saves it for Tuesday night.
Yep, absolutely. I think that would be perfect because then all of us can hear it.
Yep.
We're here, we're stuck with hearing it in chat.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay, does anybody have a question? We're just about gone through our hour.
Wow.
Can you believe it went that fast?
No.
Oh my goodness.
But, Somalia is a pretty entertaining subject.
Yeah.
And that's food for thought for everybody. So
and it was a nice place to start.
Yeah. See what you can find out about that. And subscribe to Emergence Magazine. Like I said, it's free and it's always got something, even if it's just one thing. I'm not saying read it all, but I am always taken with the films for sure, because they're not the usual things you see.
Yep. And Allie said she will tell her dream.
Okay.
We're going to be listening. Yep.
My dragon wants to come out. He will not be overshadowed by Zoroaster. This is actually a Rahu Mazda, so. But that's the symbol for Zoroastrianism.
Yeah.
Well, then maybe we should just do one for the collective, since we have done what to expect for 420. But we've got a week to get there, so.
Yeah.
6 days anyway.
6
Days on the
they
road.
need to do to get there.
You damn.
Yep. Wow, everything piled up in one place nearly.
Oh, to say. Yeah, so I have to resort to the pamphlet.
Yep.
You want me to go?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I have soda light and water. You have the clarity you need, so follow your heart. And all the paths are out there for you. Pick one. Pick one. And then, okay, this could apply to you too, Teresa. And then in Earth, we have an amethyst at one corner of the tile and pyrite at the other corner of the tile. So they're together. And in Earth, pyrite says more to be brought forward, and spirit is transforming. It hasn't been done yet. So Teresa, if we apply that to your phone, they're still charging it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have calcite in false. Calcite in false. Your mind is misleading. The mind is misleading. They're probably not trying to keep it or go through it.
Yeah.
This could be an honest person.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have fuchsite in both false and the path forward. So listen to your body's signals. Physical feelings will move you to the next step. So if you are getting a location, I don't know how it works because I've never had to use it. Does it ping, 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 and you just follow it till you get to it? Or is it misleading to follow something like that, like a GPS? And so you just follow that ping, ping, ping till you get to where your phone is, but don't do anything dangerous for yourself. I'm not that I'm worried you would do something to anyone else. I just don't put yourself in harm's way.
Hi, Harley. She's got a good point. Teresa, did you contact your phone call carrier? They may be able to track its location too. And that would be helpful because you're tracking it, and then the phone carrier can track it, and you can definitely get a spot for it.
Sending lots of light to this, so hopefully it's.
Yeah.
I can ping it and hear it from the ping on the phone, so I won't hear it from where I am.
Then your carrier will be more helpful, I think. Yeah.
And can't wait to get moved.
Yes, things are moving fast, Andrea, not just physically, but also spiritually here. Yep. Okay. Did you finished your reading?
Yes, those were all the stones.
Okay. Okay. Teresa says she did contact them, but they didn't offer to do that.
They just
so. Well, call them back and tell them, sorry, that's part of your service. Get off your duff and do it anyway.
I don't take no crap. And it all depends on who you talk to. Also,
yes,
the next person you call back could understand.
Yes, and if that person doesn't understand, then you ask for their supervisor. That's a definite one from me. I do it every time.
Yeah.
So there's some more suggestions here. They can use the location button to track it. There you go. Okay, I'm going to go on with this reading, and we'll wrap ourselves up here.
Okay.
Okay, I've got the amethyst in present and air. So spirit changes are happening now. No shit. Okay, and then I got air. I'm sorry, I slept too close to the cat. He was all over me last night. Spirit transforms thinking. So your thinking is going to change about some things. Yeah, and it has to, because everything's changing.
Right. We are in times.
Yep. We are in very busy times. Report it lost. Okay, and then I've got the clarity, or the sodalite, is in air. In air is be sure your thoughts are clear. Yeah. So I think what they're telling us is no tokes until after 420. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because we're still in that Mercury retrograde phase, and so everything we do, we should always think twice, act once anyway. But when a planet that is a fast mover and is considered a personal planet, and you're talking about daily activities, then yeah, you think about it 3 times before you do it.
Yeah. Andrew, an explanation for me here. You have a spring glow and energy. Your cat is loving it. Yeah, he's loving too much because he's got me choking up, and I took stuff before the show. Okay, I've got 3 more stones to go through, and all 3 of them are in earth and fire. So the mind, or the orange calcite, is in earth and fire, and that is to not become tied to false energy of the past, and final thoughts on the situation are coming. So we're going to come to some sort of a conclusion after all these planets get done moving around and getting together. And then the pyrite, or the grounding stone, is in earth and fire. So we have clarification comes from dealing with your past, and then more to be brought forward. So, of course, with all these changes coming, with all the planets moving around in one spot, that's going to have a lot of changes coming. And then we've got the body, or the fuchsite, is in earth and fire.
Yeah.
The body says, embody your past, and physical changes are coming. Well, that I kind of expected with all this.
So, right. Just what you were saying, if we turn it upside down like this, right? This is the handle of the bucket, and we're swinging the bucket around. You know that trick where centrifugal force keeps the water in the bucket. This is the bucket end. And as it begins to slow down some more, this is going to change. But for a while to come, we are going to have this bucket with the cradle. All right. And that's what it is. Think about rocking the baby. You're the baby. Give yourself what you need. I'm screaming at my closet, and after screaming at it the 3rd time, I went and got some new clothes, and I just took the ones I can't stand no more and threw them out. It's not that they're washed out. They don't even have goodwill life in them,
Yeah, that's time to do some spring cleaning.
I still have old clothes for gardening.
Yep. Yeah, all is difficult without a mobile phone to meet them when they are available. Yep. Okay, we got another comment from Andrea. So many seeds that we are all sowing without actually being aware of it. I am enjoying seeing the fertility, growth, and energy. Yeah, the growth and the energy has been busting out all over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though the season it's hard to get started here. It's feels good. It just feels so much better.
Well, you've been running around a bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, you've had your energy picking up.
Yes, and healing. It's just there is such a change since that vision.
Yeah.
Physically.
Yeah.
And if she was sent from afar from someone else, thank you so much. If she came here on her own, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's my name in Lakota. 100 Hawks woman.
Okay, Harley. Angela and Diana, you're each amazing readers.
Thank
You're
you.
very gifted. Thank you so much. You've each blown my mind with past readings. Angela, you left me sitting all day yesterday. I had to keep eating pancakes.
There you go.
That's a good idea.
Toasted waffles with ice cream, right?
Yeah, there you go. Well, thank you, Harley. That was really nice. Okay, I think it's about time that we get out of here and let these people do something else because we've got a lot going on.
That's right. And I can hear motorcycles and trucks outside your window, so it's daytime. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Bye-bye. Love y'all.
Love. Namaste for sure.